My name is Cody, and today I'll be doing a fight analysis on Jake Norwood. This analysis was suggested to me by John C. in the comments section of my last video on Molten Fabian. So if you have an idea for who you might want to see an analysis on, just let me know. Actually turns out that I included some of Jake Norwood's fencing in a previous video I made on Long Point 2016. I just didn't recognize the name at the time. Since then, I've seen his name come up in a couple of different tournaments, but to be fair, I'm only going to be doing a fight analysis on the videos that have been uploaded within the last 2 years. And some quick things on Jake Norwood's fencing. I would say that he's not the quickest, but his strikes have a lot of strength behind them. He is also incredibly patient. So he is unlikely to take the vol, and will instead wait for his opponent to throw the first cut. He's also very adept at grappling and pommel strikes, which is something I find very interesting in HEMA. So, let's begin. This is Jake Norwood. You can identify him in the next few clips as he's the only one in a white gambeson. If we watch that again, we can see that Norwood does a good job of protecting himself from the bind, and when it comes to the grapple, he isn't all that technical. He grabs the opponent's arms and yanks him into submission. This ties into an overall theme with Norwood that many of his plays are successful due to good body mechanics and physical strength, not deception or complex techniques. Now this next clip is kinda long, but it really highlights Jake Norwood's approach to the fight. He is very patient and will sit and wait for the right moment to attack. If a cut is thrown at him and he doesn't see an opportunity, he will not make the attempt, and if the opponent gets too close, he will jump back into overhoot to create distance and present threat. Backing away into overhoot is probably the most distinctive aspect of Jake Norwood's fencing. Also, note how he holds himself. No excessive movement, everything is deliberate. He is very patient and will adopt a low guard in order to provoke an attack, and if one or two of his counter cuts fail to land, he will back into a high guard like overhoot to seem more threatening and force his opponent into a more defensive stance, thus ending the exchange. It then ends with a simple overhow to the hands. At the beginning we see Norwood jump back into overhoot when threatened, then go into a low guard to invite an attack to his head or chest. But this time, instead of waiting, he lunges in, and when his sword is deflected, he grabs the opponent's elbow in an attempt to control his sword arm before going to the pommel strike. Unfortunately for Norwood, his opponent immediately went for an Unterhau as soon as he displaced Norwood's blade, and hit him soundly in the armpit a full tempo before the pommel strike. Just in case you thought I was exaggerating about Norwood preferring his opponent to take the vol, I included this little gem. We can see Norwood doing everything he can to bait his opponent into an attack, but it instead results in a standoff. I think he used this style of fencing too many times in this tournament, and people got wise to it and tried not to play along. It goes on for so long that he lets his guard down and almost gets hit. Then he goes right back to waiting. This isn't paused, by the way. When the opponent throws a cut, Norwood jumps back into overhoot, then they exchange a few blows before it ends with a Zverk by Norwood. Keep moving. Yes! Go! Norwood was more aggressive at long point 2016, so the defensive style as well as flying out into overhoot may be a more recent development in his fencing. We still can see him backing out when threatened and relying primarily on strong overhows. This exchange ends in a double.
Stab him in the face, Ian. Oh!
Again, a more aggressive style at long point. He takes the vol with an unterhau. When they end up in a high bind, he flips it around into a strong overhau to the head.
1, 2, oh!
This pommel strike was similar to the previous one in that Norwood leads with a thrust, yet anticipates that it will be displaced. When it is, he attempts to control his opponent's arm and moves to pommel strike. Notice that when Norwood goes to grapple, he isn't utilizing anything complex, but uses his strength to immobilize his opponent before striking. The next 3 clips all have something in common, and that's a bit of a weakness I have noticed in Norwood's fencing. He isn't the best at defending himself against a thrust. As we saw, there were some very interesting aspects to Jake Norwood's style of fencing. His strong blows might not be the quickest, but they do deflect his opponent's blades. He's also very good at grappling and pommel strikes. All of his movements also seem very intentional. He's not sloppy at all, and his unique style of jumping back into high Vomtog when things get hectic seems to serve him pretty well. We also saw that he's very bad at protecting himself against a thrust to the neck. The only time I ever really see anyone hit Jake Norwood is with a thrust. As always, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you thought in the comments section below. Vi sind Latasra.